so today I'm here to do my wrap up for the month of January, and I can't believe January is already over. First month of 2019 is already gone. I'm just like, what? But guys, this month I read a total of 5 books, and I'm very excited because I've introduced audiobooks into my life. So I listened to 2 audiobooks this month, so I would have only read 3 books this month if I didn't listen to audiobooks. And I'm just so glad that I have another way to like have books in my life, because my reading has just gone very much downhill in the sense that I just can't read as much as I used to. But I have audiobooks to listen to when I'm doing things where I can't actually be reading, because like when I'm driving I can listen to an audiobook, or if I was having to write something down, or if I had to do something on the computer. Like there's just times where you can't read a traditional format of a book, so it's just so good to have some more time and to get more excited about reading in that sense. And my wrap-ups are going to be a little bit different this year, because now that I have the TBR money challenge, I'm going to be telling you how much money I earn over the whole month, and I want to talk about what challenge each book that I read actually relates to. So that is going to become kind of a normal part of my wrap-up. So the first book I read this month was The Loneliest Girl in the Universe by Lauren James, and this ticked off the challenge of Read a Sci-Fi, and I earned $5 for this one. Now, I did the try a sentence tag on my channel like a couple of videos back, and this was one of the books that I picked from that video. Oh my god, I was so excited for this book, and so many people talk so highly about it. Oh, it was just very cringe. It was so cringe. Like, I think I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. This book was just so juvenile, and the main character got catfish, man. And like, I honestly expected that to happen from reading the synopsis, when they're just like, ooh, the dude isn't as he seems, and I'm just like, yeah, there's a reason why. Don't trust people that you can't see, you know? But she was just obsessed with the guy, and she just didn't really think anything of it. There was times when she had severe warning signals going on in her mind, but just because Jay said it was okay, she did the things. And I just never really get characters like that are so gullible. And like, there was a lot of stuff happening that you never really got the answer to until the last page, so they had to be really honest, like, oh, we don't talk about that, or oh, I don't think about that, or I don't go near that room. Like, these type of things irritate me so much when I'm reading a book. So I was excited for it, and it was just not that great. Next book I read was Furyborne by Claire Legrand, and this checked off the challenge of doing a buddy read, because I read this with my 2 friends. It was so much fun to read it together, but I am sad to say that I was disappointed in this book. Like, I was expecting so much more from it. And this is a book that I've been highly anticipating since I bought it a couple of months ago, when it was just sitting there, and I'm like, I need to read Furyborne. Like, I put it on my list of books that I need to read this year. So I just really didn't like Rielle. Like, she was so pretentious and poshy, and like her magic powers were just so easy for her to use. But a part of this book is in the first chapter, it spoils what happens to her later in life, and I'm just a bit like, okay, like, we're meant to know exactly what's happening. With Eliana, we have no idea what's going to happen to her, and I really liked her story development, and I liked her character a lot more, and she was more like an anti-villain, and that's my jam. And this does definitely feel like Once Upon a Time, because I got really excited when Tash from Tash Police talked about this book being like Once Upon a Time, and I was just like, oh my god, yes, like that's one of my favorite shows. I'm actually currently rewatching it, and I'm into season 3, and I can feel that. It's a book that takes place 1,000 years apart with the 2 point of views. It really is a cool concept. It just didn't hit the mark for me exactly. Like, I gave it 4 stars. Like, I still really enjoyed it, but I was expecting it to blow me away, and when you have high expectations and then it doesn't meet them, it's always a sad thing. Okay, my first audiobook was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and everyone was raving about this book, and I was just kind of like, is it really that great? But it is. And also, they ticked off the challenge of read a book with a number in the title, and it's 7 Husbands, so that works very well. So I put another $5 into my jar. I don't think I could have comprehended how amazing this book was going to be, because I was thinking, oh yeah, this is just going to be a story about learning about this woman's 7 husbands. I didn't expect it to be like scene by scene storytelling of it, where you were literally with Monique, but then you were with Evelyn as a character. But the amount of stuff that happens in her life, because it starts out when she's 14 and it goes up to when she's like 70, and like, she goes through a lot of stuff, and she is someone that does not take no shit. She would have done anything to be famous, and she did. There were so many times where she did stuff that it was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this just happened. But I just love her. Like I love Evelyn so much, and I loved Monique as well, and there was so much unexpected stuff, and there was times too when you'd just be sitting there just like, oh my god, what is happening? And with the audiobook, I was just so invested. I had to keep listening. I was just listening to it while I was sitting on my bed because I was too invested. I was just so shocked and by everything that was happening, and I recently just bought the actual physical book so I can get everyone in my household to read this because it was so good. It was just mind-blowingly good. Okay, the next book I read was When We Collided by Emery Lord. I picked this up after I started reading Landline because I wanted another contemporary. I just could not get into it, so I put it off for like 3 weeks, and then I was like, I really should finish this book. I was so excited for this book because I have so many of Emery Lord's books that I haven't read yet, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good. It was not. I gave this one 3 stars as well. Like, I had a pretty good reading month from the audiobooks, but everything else was kind of a downer for me. I thought this was gonna be really cute, and it was a cute contemporary and kind of a cute relationship, but I just couldn't stand Vivi. I know that she has bipolar disorder, symptoms of bipolar, and her always changing how she was feeling and doing different things, being really spontaneous and crazy a lot of the time. She was just too much. Like, she was too much, and she was kind of full of herself and so confident about everything, and I'm just sitting there just like, I can't do this. And she was so selfish because with Jonah, he lost his dad 6 months beforehand, and every time I talked to her about real stuff, she just didn't care. Like, she was all about her and her problems, and like, really with their relationship, I didn't ship it because Jonah deserved so much more than her, and I just was so annoyed that this disappointed me so much. I'm already forgetting what I'm doing. This book was for Read a Contemporary, which put $5 into my jar as well. And the last book I read was another audiobook, and I read Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid because I loved Evelyn Hugo so much. And the place where I listen to audiobooks, which is called Scribd, and I can leave a link down below because it's only $9 a month to have unlimited access to all these audiobooks. There are 4 Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and I'm going to make my way through all of them. This is the one that I picked because it had a very much a sliding doors premise, and I was so for it because this one was a 5-star read. I couldn't actually think of a challenge for this one to work with, so I just did one of my $2 color challenges because there was blue on this cover, so I got another $2 added to the jar. This book starts out with the main character Hannah moving back to Los Angeles and moving in with a friend, and then they go out to this party, and she is faced with 2 decisions, and either she goes home with Gabby or she goes home with the guy who she dated back in high school, and then they broke up. And from these 2 decisions, you see both of them play out, and you see how her life is going to change or be similar and be different, and it's actually such a unique premise, and I love the idea of like different parallel universes. You make one decision and it changes everything. But this was such a good audiobook as well because I got so invested in both stories. And what's really fun as well is in one story something happens and you find out about it early, but then you go to another storyline and you know this thing but the characters don't know about it yet, and that was what intrigued me so much. I definitely preferred the storyline where she fell in love with Henry because he was amazing. Like, Ethan was okay in his storyline, but I would just felt like she was cheating on Henry, even though she never met Henry if things change. But I just love Henry so much, and he's my favorite. And I was just messaging Sash from Sash Reads the whole time I was reading this book, like, Henry's so amazing, I love him. And she was just like, I know, right? Because I was reading Evelyn Hugo and I was messaging her, and then I was reading this book and I was messaging her because I have no one to talk about. So I also bought Maybe in Another Life so that my family can read it because Taylor Jenkins Reid becoming one of my favorite authors, and I want to listen to her other 2 books because they sound amazing as well. So from the 5 books that I read this month, I put $27 in total into my TBR jar. And just me in this video talking about how I am buying books, I actually got some birthday money from my grandma and I bought some books with it because if I asked her to buy me the book, she just would have done that. So having money to buy myself a present, I think it's okay that I bought a couple of books, and I only bought 3 books with the money, and the other one I won't tell you about so it can be secret. And guys, I didn't buy a single book in the month of January, and I am just shocked. We're already a bit into February, and that's why I bought some books, but I was totally holding off this whole month, and I am so proud of myself because I read more than I bought. So that is 5 lesser books on the TBR, as well as the books that I unhauled. So I think I'm going really well in my life right now, reading wise and book buying wise. So proud of myself that I did it. I've done a whole month and I haven't strayed from the challenge, and I've got $27 to buy a book, and I am just really on a high right now. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!